This morning. Now it's time to talk security in Nigeria. And just to give you a bit of background now on this allocation for security in Nigeria's budget, proposed budget for this year. On the 19th of December, just last month, President Tinubu presented the 2026 appropriation bill, and the total is 58.18 trillion naira. He presented it to a joint session of the National Assembly, and this budget is christened Budget of Consolidation, Renewed Resilience, and Shared Prosperity. It has a targeted revenue of 34.33 trillion naira, and capital expenditure totals 26.08 trillion naira. About 15.52 trillion naira is earmarked for debt servicing, while recurrent non-debt spending is 15.25 trillion naira. It has a deficit of 23.85 trillion naira. And some of the key assumptions: we have crude oil benchmark at $64.85 per barrel. We are hoping to produce 1.84 million barrels per day, and exchange rate is pegged at 1,400 naira to a dollar. Now, let me quickly run us through the sector allocation. For defense and security, we have 5.41 trillion naira of the lot. Infrastructure is gulping 3.56 trillion naira. Education, 3.52 trillion naira. And health, 2.48 trillion naira. So those are, some of the key allocations there. Let's now bring in my guest. He is Dr. Stephen Okori. He is a security consultant, strategist, and fellow of the Nigerian Army Resource Center. He joins us from Abuja studios. Dr. Okori, good to have you join us on the program.
Yeah, good morning. My pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's get straight to it. Just as in previous years, security and defense is taking the largest chunk, or the large chunk now, of our proposed budget for 2026. And that's about 5.41 trillion naira of the total 58.18 trillion naira. How do you react to that allocation?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying that addressing insecurity issues anywhere in the world is not cheap. The president, I don't think, made a mistake in giving the large chunk of the 2026 budget to defense and security. In his previous budget of 2025, the defense and security budget was also the highest. Well, the implication now is that we must have security in place before we talk of any other development. Of course, you agree with me that without security, there cannot be any meaningful development, right? And just the way I said, we need resources when we are talking about addressing insecurity issues in the country. Now, given the defense and security budget, the highest chunk in the budget, it's not something new. Mr. President, as far as I know about him from research and findings that I have done, is one man that has decided to prioritize security, because he knows that if security is not in place, it will affect a lot of things. It will reduce foreign direct investment and even investment within Nigeria, right? Now, the security budget, contained in the budget are a lot that we need to do with regards to addressing insecurity issues. Now, one of the things that I discovered that Mr. President has tried to do in addressing some of these insecurity issues that are confronting us today is the international collaboration that he has decided to seek, because he knows that addressing issues of insecurity is not, Nigeria cannot do it alone. We need some sort of international support. And that is why you saw recently in December with the agreement between Nigeria and the U.S. came to strike the ISIS operational base in Sokoto. Beside that, we have seen one remarkable achievement by Mr. President through the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawali, in signing an agreement, a memorandum of understanding between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, which has never happened before, to see how to deepen our defense military cooperation between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. Contained in that agreement is some benefits. For instance, there will be joint exercises, there will be training for our security personnel, there will be technical support for Nigeria, there will be some intelligence gathering contained in that agreement. And the agreement is a 5-year agreement that has been signed by Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. What that means is that Nigerian military and the police need some specialized training because we are being confronted with asymmetric warfare, where it's difficult in a way to identify who our common enemy is. So in carrying out this training between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, it will help improve our professionalism in trying to see how to help address these insecurity issues that we are talking about. And also, we have seen where the government of Nigeria and Turkey have gone into an agreement as well. Very recently, we saw the acquisition of a 76-meter high-endurance offshore patrol vessel that was acquired by the government under President Bola Tinubu, I beg your pardon, to see also to help address these insecurity issues within the maritime domain, right? That vessel, the essence is to carry out surveillance, in the area of trying to see how to address crude oil theft, piracy, and also arms smuggling into this country. With that, you see that collaboration between Nigeria and Turkey. All this requires resources, right?
All right.
And, well, hold on. And we have seen since 2009 to date, that's about 14, 15 years ago, we have not seen a situation where there's drastic reduction in crude oil theft. With all these surveillance equipments and all that Mr. President has decided to bring on board under his administration, we have seen that there's drastic reduction in crude oil theft, right? And of course, you know that crude oil is our main source of revenue, right? And once it's tempered with the resources that is expected for the government to get as revenue from crude oil is tempered with, and we cannot get enough resources to see how to put together to address some of these issues that is confronting us in Nigeria today. So a whole lot has been happening in that regard around seeing that Nigeria as a country partners with other countries to see how to help Nigeria address these insecurity issues that we're talking about. Then there are also other means or ways that we have seen. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, I was really just listening to all that you're explaining about some of the exploits, especially with government prioritizing security and defense of the country. And I wanted to bring up, a point by some analysts who argue that, yes, this allocation for security in 2026 is the highest, it is the largest, but then it is a far cry from what we actually need to secure Nigeria and Nigerians. And I'm curious, do you share the same sentiment?
Absolutely. I share the same sentiment because I've said it here times without number that in addressing the security issue, the resources that we have in the budget is not enough. But the question now is, the one that we already have in the budget, how judiciously are we using it? That's the question to ask, right? But by and large, that resources that is allocated for security, defense and security, there is need for us to see how to step it up. Why? Because when you look at the manpower that we have on ground, we don't have enough police, we don't have enough military. In trying to see how to increase the number, to be able to function very well and optimally, there is need for us to see how to increase the number that we have. And in increasing the number that we have, we also need more resources, and all that, because it will entail their welfare, training, logistics, and all that. And also, in trying to see how to increase the manpower, there is need for us to also improve on the equipments, gadgets, arms, and ammunition that they need to see how to bear, carry in the fight against insecurity. So, for the budget that is 5.41 trillion, right now that is what the president has decided to bring on board. But I think that going forward, there's need for us to see how to increase the budget when it has to do with defense and security, because without security, just the way I said, there won't be any meaningful development, because we are seeing the effects of lack of security or insecurity within within our society.
All right, Dr. Okori. And just as you have mentioned, we have witnessed several events, of insecurity. And one of the most recent, the one in Niger State, a very chilling development where about 60 people were killed, and a number of other people kidnapped, abducted, and some of them we understand are actually, some students from the St. Mary's School in Papiri who were only recently released after their initial abduction. But now the president has given an order for a fierce manhunt of the attackers, bring them to book, bring them to justice. What do you say about this resolve and this directive coming from Mr. President on this development?
Yeah, Mr. President is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Therefore, as president, he is the father to the nation and father to all. He has sworn an oath to protect the citizens of this country. And the oath and the Constitution gives him the powers to give out such directives and order. Don't forget that Section 14(2)(b) talks about the primary responsibility of government, which is security and welfare. So it is the Mr. President's responsibility and other people, other political leaders that are occupying one office or the other that swore to the same oath, right, to provide security for the citizens of this country. So Mr. President giving that order, for me, is a welcome development as a father of the nation. Of course, he will not sit and see that his children, let me use that word now, his children, because we are all his children, citizens of this country, to be seen to be killed in such a manner and some adopted, right? So the order that he gave to the ministers of defense, the chief of defense staff, the national security advisor and order for them to go after the perpetrators of this dastardly act is a welcome development, and I urge the officers that are in charge to go according to the instruction and directive of Mr. President, because justice needs to be seen, to be melted at the perpetrators of this dastardly act, right? 42 persons or more killed in that manner, right, is not something that one should abhor, in a country like Nigeria. And that gives the military, the police, and the other security agencies the charge, right, to see how to go above board in addressing these insecurity issues that is confronting us, right? So what Mr. President has done, yes, is a welcome development, and we expect to see results at the end of the day.
And we know that in recent time, we have seen precision airstrikes. In December, for instance, there were several of them by the Nigerian Air Force working in synergy with the ground troops, also dislodging and just really going head on against the enemies of the state as you described them earlier. What do you say about the morale of our troops, of our security operatives to go head on and deal with insecurity in the country?
Now, the morale of our troops is something that we should critically look at. Under the current administration of Mr. President, we have seen a lot that has happened, a lot of policies, initiatives, and the framework that Mr. President and the people he has appointed to work with him, especially within the security domain, to see how to achieve or get the desired result. Now, one of the things that I think that Mr. President has done in trying to see how to help address this thing in a way and also motivate the morale of the troops is that before now, the DICON, Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, was established in 1964. And in 2024, DICON was 60 years old. The reason and the mandate why DICON was established wasn't met at all. Not until when Mr. President came on board and he had to see how the DICON Act needed to be passed and implemented under the guidance of the Minister of State for Defense, what's his name, Dr. Bello Matawali, because that DICON industry is under his supervision. Now, DICON was just there, not meeting the necessary requirements or the need why it was established. But right now, we have seen that DICON has gone above board, producing arms and ammunition, bullets, and protective equipment here in Nigeria. The passage of the DICON Act 2023 also gave DICON the opportunity to see how to partner with local entrepreneurs here in Nigeria and also foreign partners. right? So we have seen that even in Nigeria, Dicon can produce APCs, right? I saw where Dicon was able to partner with Vanquish Industries Limited and other companies in Nigeria, and they are able to produce defense military equipment here in Nigeria. What that means is that it has reduced our over-dependence, our over-reliance on the West when it has to do with defense military equipment. When you are talking about contract process now, when contracts are awarded and the contractor needs to travel abroad to procure what he or she is asked to come and supply, you know the processes it follows. It can take a period of 2, 3, 4 months, depending on when the processes elapse or closes. Now, while we are going through that process, these criminals are not waiting. They are carrying out these acts of criminality on our people. So what the government of Tinubu has done, it has reduced our over-reliance. Rather than going abroad, we can go to Kaduna and procure these arms, ammunition, and other military defense equipment that we need to see how to carry out these acts of trying to see how these criminal activities don't happen. Now, in the area of motivation, the government have seen that they have tried their best. A lot is happening. We are seeing some results in the outcome of our military and our police. Their welfare has been increased, right? They've been motivated and all that. But just like Oliver Twist, we Nigerians and also those of them in the military and the police are still asking for more because they need to be motivated. This military, police and all that, they are the ones in the front line. They are paying the supreme price and all that. So what would they need from us is our prayers, our support, and the support from government. And that is why we are talking about the defense security budget. With that, what needs to be done is to see that their motivation is increased, their remuneration is increased, and all that, so that as they carry out this act of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria and also protecting the citizens of this country, they will know that they are doing it with the support of government and all that. Logistics are provided. They should embark on trainings to see how to specialize in the areas where they need to be specialized and all that. And on doing that, we'll see that the outright display of professionalism in the conduct of their activities in defending the country and defending the citizens as well. So their morale, the current chief of army staff, when he came, one of his vision is that the welfare of the military must be increased and they should be motivated. And I see it as a welcome development as well.
All right, and going back to the development in Niger State, we understand that the community where the latest attack took place on Saturday is actually only a short distance from Papiri in Agwa local government area, where in November, more than 200 pupils were abducted. So what could have gone wrong? Is it that we relaxed a bit after that incident, or we only focused solely on Papiri and left the other parts of the state unattended to? What do you think happened?
Now, let me tell you, when the new Minister of Defense was being screened at the National Assembly, he said it in one of the questions that he was asked. He said, you don't expect the presence of security in every community. Right. And police, the military are not ghosts. Why they are not ghosts is because you don't expect them to be present in every community. Now, the civilian population also have roles to play. And that has to do with our community policing model, right? How effective is the community policing model? And in applying the community policing model, it is when you see something and you say, it will now draw the attention of our security agents to the communities where they have seen something and they said it. Before the attack in that community, I was told that these terrorists, they were lurking around for like a week or more before they struck, right? And this statement came from members of the community that was attacked. So when they saw these terrorists lurking around, what stopped them from passing the information to the relevant security agencies? And now, crime is local, and it is a known fact that crime is local. Most of these crimes happen in our very rural communities, where you don't have the presence of the police and the military, right? And every security threat begins at a community level, right? So what that means is that there must be some local collaboration. and in seeing how to address these issues when it has to do with crime at the local level. That was what gave rise to the establishment of National Forest Guards by Mr. President, because he knows that for us to address these insecurity issues locally, there must be some sort of local security structure that must be on ground to serve as first responders, to be able to confront these criminals when they come to attack our people in our rural communities. And that is why Mr. President gave an approval for the establishment of National Forest Guards. He didn't even stop at that. He went ahead to see how to order. He gave directive that these National Forest Guards should be armed as well. It is not the forest guards that will just carry ordinary batons and sticks or bows and arrows, because these criminals have sophisticated arms and ammunition when they come to attack our people in our rural communities. And that is why he gave an order that they must be armed as well to be able to confront these criminal elements when they come to attack our people. And you, of course, you know, or you agree with me, the value that these criminals attach to our forest. In the forest, it is where they keep hostages. They kidnap people, keep them in this forest until negotiations are met before they are released. Now, these criminals hibernate in this forest. That is where they use as safe haven. So with the coming on board of the National Forest Guards, they will be armed and they will be recruited from their immediate local community where they are used to the environment, used to the terrain. When they see somebody new in their community, they'll be able to identify that this person is new. Take, for instance, if we had the National Forest Guards on ground in that community where 42 persons were killed, and they were looking around they were looking around for like 1 week before they struck. The forest guards, having gone through a process of training, would have been able to identify that these people are alien, they are new to this community, and all that. So therefore, they will be able to have arrested them, you know, profile them, and know where they are coming from, right? But what we have on ground, it is not enough, and that is why I want to use this opportunity to appeal to Mr. President to see how to hasten, because the process is slow. Very wonderful idea and initiative, but the process is slow. We need to see how to speed up, because these criminals are not waiting for us, right?
All
so
right,
there's a
Dr.
lot that we need to do under, yeah.
All right, Dr. Corey, the phone lines are open now, and we have Reverend Dominic joining us. Reverend Dominic, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hello, good morning, madam. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please go on with your contribution.
Okay, good morning to you again. What actually
Reverend Dominic, the line is not too clear. Perhaps you may need to redial, and let's hope we can have you then. So back to you, Dr. Okwori. Now that you're talking about forests, I also wanted to refer to the incident in Oyo State where there was an attack by bandits at the National Park office. The governor did mention that preliminary investigations by security agencies indicate that this was a cross-border attack carried out by bandits. Now, these people came from the park based on what we're hearing, and they attacked officers there. So what is happening, and what do we need to do to stem this?
Now, we need to see how to increase and improve on our vigilance operations. Vigilance and surveillance, they are very key, and as well as intelligence. Just the way I said, forest guards, if their approval and empowerment will help enhance and reduce these attacks that we experience in our rural communities that don't have security presence, right? Imagine that we had forest guards armed in that national park. What happened would have happened. At least we would have seen some casualties, right, from both sides, right? But right now, we only saw casualties on the side of people that are going about their lawful businesses, and the people that are bearing illegal arms, there were no casualties on their side. They came, operated, and went scot-free. So there's a lot that we need to do in the area of vigilance, surveillance, and also in the area of intelligence, right? So that when we see this collaboration between our local forest guards and our conventional security agencies, we will see some substantial results, right? With what Mr. President is doing as president of the country, if we get 1 or 2, 3 percentage of support from what governors are doing, at least we will get the desired result. Now, Mr. President is up there trying to see how to help address the insecurity issues in our country. The triggers of insecurity, what are they? Poverty, unemployment, corruption, right? Illiteracy, and all that. the governors of state, what are they doing in trying to see that poverty is reduced, right? What are they trying to see that unemployment is reduced? Because when you look at citizens of this country, some of them, when they can't afford the basic survival needs, they tend to turn to crime because these criminals offer them certain amounts, induce them to come into their fold, right? As a result of the monies that they get as ransom from Nigerians, right? So we must see that poverty is reduced both at the state and local government level. Unemployment is reduced at the state and local government level, right? The level of illiteracy, we must see that they invest in education because some of them go into this crime as a result of ignorance, right? So let us see that governors out there, instead of embarking on white elephant project, they will embark on projects that will reduce the rate of poverty, the rate of unemployment in their states, and the rate of illiteracy, because when they are ignorant, they can go into this crime ignorantly. They need to invest in education at their state and at the local government level. Governors should allow local governments to function. Your last guest said local government funds go straight to local government in Lagos State, but it's not applicable in other states, especially the north, where this insecurity is increasing at an alarming rate. Governors in the north should also allow funds to go straight to their local government chairman, where they can use the funds judiciously to see how to help address these security issues at the local government level and all that. Great crimes are grassrooted, right? So there's a lot that we need to do. Mr. President has appealed to governors to allow local government to function, but we're not even saying that. They bring in their stooges as local government chairman, select them through a process of election, and when these monies come to the local government, they try to send some amount of the money back to the governors. It's not acceptable. These tiers of government must be allowed to function just so that we can see that there's drastic reduction in the rate of insecurity in this country.
All right, Dr. Okwori, it's a good way to leave the conversation. Unfortunately, the network was so poor we couldn't really take guests on the show today, but it's been a great ride. Dr. Stephen Okwori is a security consultant and strategist, and he is fellow Nigerian Army Resource Center. Thank you very much for your time on